dear. And pink is so becoming to Madeline. I am so glad you did not think because this is a kitchen shower that you had to bring one of those ugly things that most people wear. I would hate to see Madeline in one. Did you make it yourself?
Yes, all but basking it together. Mother did that for me, for I was so puzzled when I saw all the little pieces, the strings, the ruffles, and the rest. What did you bring, Julia?
All the kitchen chairs I have ever seen have been so hard and uncomfortable looking that I have made a cushion so that Madeline will have at least one inviting place to sit in her kitchen. Don't you think it's pretty? Indeed, I do. It is perfectly sweet. Madeline will be delighted with it. I am sure this is what I am giving her. I have candlesticks with ornate green shades. Kitchens are such a hot place, you know, and green throws such a cool, pleasant light.
Aren't they just darling?
Perfectly dear. I think they are too. And I hope the girls will bring pretty things. I'm going to put everything on this table. Hello, Henrietta.
Hello, Henrietta.
Hello, girls. Oh, you dear thing. Whatever made you so long? Here we have been waiting and wondering. And say, what did you bring? I brought this tablet from Miranda. See, I put this big green bow on it because partly it looked pretty and partly because I could hide quite a large sachet on each of the loops. And you know, it is so nice to have a sachet in the kitchen. That is, I should think it would be to counteract the odors of cooking. When I get married, I'm going to have a dozen in my kitchen. Weren't you clever to think of it? And I see the green ribbon just goes with the candle shades. Oh, aren't they dear? Who?
Oh, girls, I thought I would never get here. And say, it began to sing in the streetcar. Let me put it down somewhere. No, it is not heavy, but it's such an awkward thing to carry. And its name is Uliphili.
What? Whose name? What is it?
The little darling's name, of course. It is a canary. Say, wouldn't you like to have one like him in your kitchen? Isn't he dear? And you ought to hear him sing.
Isn't he cunning? Shall I put him on the table with the other things? Please do. Isn't this going to be the finest kitchen shower you ever saw? Everyone is bringing such delightful gifts. Oh, hello, Priscilla.
Good afternoon. Isn't it a beautiful day we're having this afternoon?
Fine. Say, Priscilla, what did you bring?
I brought a flowering plant. It is advisable, you know, to make your surroundings as beautiful as possible.
Oh, how sweet.
Darling.
Dear. Perfectly lovely.
Where did you get it, Priscilla? At the new florist on the corner of First Street? He has beautiful things, but won't it take up a lot of room in the kitchen?
If Madeline takes my advice, she will make sure that she will have a large area kitchen. It is most important.
Hello, girls.
Hello, Jane.
Here's my donation, a lovely frying pan. What you can't use is of no use is my motto. Is this the shower? It looks to me more like a fancy table at a bazaar than a kitchen shower.
Wasn't she horrid to bring such an ugly thing?
But people use frying pans.
Yes, but brides don't want to think about them. I wish I dared hide it under the table.
Where's Madeline? Hasn't the guest of honor come yet?
No, she is very late. I don't see what can keep her.
Maybe she's writing to Mr. Randolph. She writes to him every day, you know. She told me so.
Have you met him, girls, Mr. Randolph? I met him last week, and he is certainly stunning.
And they say he is clever, too.
They say he has money, too.
What a remarkable man.
Oh, girls, did you know that Susan Moore and Will Henry have announced their engagement? Impossible.
Gracious.
Really?
Impossible.
Poor Billy.
Oh, Jane, aren't you mean? Susan is just as sweet as she can be.
Oh, of course she is, and pretty too, but she doesn't know anything, poor child.
Doesn't know anything? Why, she can speak French and German and sing beautifully and paint some
Oh,
and
yes, I know all that, but it will not help her to get poor Billy's dinner.
Well, Billy might hire a cook.
Oh, yes, Billy might, if Billy had the money.
Jane, you spoil anybody's romance. Have you seen the latest addition to Madeline's trousseau? It is a rainbow chiffon wrapped, and it is the sweetest, dearest thing you ever saw. Someone sent it from Paris. She does not know how to put it on yet, but it certainly is the loveliest thing in the world.
Madeline!
Madeline, what has kept you so long, dear? Where have you been? Madeline, it appears that you are muted.
Oh dear, let me get my breath. Oh, I have walked so fast. Girls, what do you think?
Oh, we can't think. Tell us.
Well, it is certainly the strangest thing you ever heard of.
Yes, I am sure it is. Go on.
Well, just as I was getting ready to come here, who do you think called?
Who?
Ooh,
Mr. Scribbles.
Mr.
Scribbles?
Yes, Mr. Scribbles, the lawyer. And what do you think he wanted?
what?
He wanted to tell me that Mr. Randolph's Aunt Maggie was dead.
Isn't that too bad?
I am so sorry. Will you postpone the wedding?
When did it happen?
Oh, I don't know, but the important part is that she left a will.
Oh, Will? Gracious.
Yes, and the will states that she leaves all her money to Freddie. If
What?
he married a competent housekeeper.
A housekeeper? How perfectly ridiculous.
Isn't it?
Why, she must have been crazy.
Well, no, Mr. Scribble says she was not, and he seems to think she showed a lot of great sense in the matter.
So do I.
Jane,
He says that if Freddie marries a girl who cannot keep house, she leaves every cent she has to an orphan asylum. Think of it.
But of course you can keep house, Madeline, so it'll be all right.
Oh, of course I can, and I told Mr. Scribble so, but he said that the will stated that he must assure himself of the fact, and he began to ask me what I could do.
Well, what did you tell him?
Well, I told him I could make tea and a rarebit and Charlotte russe and a lot of nice little things.
You make the most delicious fudge I ever tasted, Madeline. Didn't you tell him that?
No, I forgot that.
What did he say when you told him about the other things?
All he said was, and then he asked me if I knew how to clean house, sweep and dust and scrub and things like that.
that horrid man. And what did you tell him then?
Well, I told him that Mr. Randolph would never think of allowing me to do such things.
Why, of course he wouldn't. Just fancy a wife of a stunning-looking man that just gets down scrubbing the floor.
Yes, think of it. And that's what I told Mr. Scribbles, though he said that perhaps I need not do the actual work myself, but it would be necessary for me to know how to do it so that I could direct the servants. And he said that, he asked me what I would do if it were house cleaning time.
And you told him?
Well, I told him I would hire a washwoman.
A washwoman? What would you hire a washwoman for?
Why, to wash the windows and floors and do the cleaning.
How clever are you? I never would have thought of it.
And then he asked me what room I would clean first, and well, I told him the hall, because that is the first thing you see when you come into a house. And then I would clean the cellar, because you always start at the bottom and go up. You see, I had my reasons for everything I said, and well, he had to admit that they sounded logical.
So it's all settled then? He's satisfied?
No, he isn't. That is the funny part of it.
I don't see what more could he want. Surely you answered him well.
He said he would like to see my theories put into practice, so I am going to hire an apartment and keep house.
Good.
Good.
How lovely.
That would be perfectly ideal.
You will come and let me help you, won't you?
Well, of course you can come and help if there is anything to be done. I expect you all to come visit me anyway, but I haven't told you all yet. Mr. Scribbles decided that he did not know anything about housekeeping after all, and that it would be better for him to send someone experienced to do the inspecting. So Mrs. Sims, a friend of Aunt Maggie, who lives in Peachville Center, she's coming to visit me so that she can tell him that everything is all right.
Peachville Center, way off there in the country. We will show her what housekeeping is. I have been reading in the magazines all about the latest ideas for arranging the table. We must have her for luncheon the first day, and will have the decorations in pink and green. I saw the sweetest plan for a pink and green luncheon in last month's ladies magazine. And you have all the things to eat in pink and green too. Won't that be lovely?
I think perhaps she will get some new ideas on housekeeping before she goes home.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if she did. Girls, if you let me give you a bit of advice.
Please don't, Jane. I know from the way you behaved this afternoon that you would throw cold water on the whole scheme.
Well, if I can't talk, I may as well go. Goodbye, girls. I wish you luck with the housekeeping, Madeline. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jane means well, but I know, but she isn't always very agreeable.
No, she will never enter into our plans, and I sometimes wonder how she ever got into our set anyway. When will you start, Madeline?
Well, just as soon as I find a place.
In the meantime, I shall collect all the useful bits of information and knowledge on the subject I can find for your perusal.
Well, your kitchen is all furnished.
Oh, yes, I forgot this was a shower. Behold your kitchen furniture.
Oh, aren't they all perfectly lovely?
All but the frying pan. Wasn't it mean for Jane to bring such an ugly thing? But then Jane always does do the unexpected. I am going to put it under the table, for now that Jane is gone, it cannot hurt her feelings, and it just spoils the other things.
Do you know, I think it was just perfectly lovely for Mr. Randolph's Aunt Maggie to make a will like that. It gives a little spice to the engagement.
Yes, and whatever happens afterwards, Freddie will always know that I am a good housekeeper, for I will have proved it.
Isn't it lovely, Madeline, to be in your own home? There is such a sense of freedom.
Yes, but there is a sense of responsibility, too. Oh, I wish we had started a week ago. To settle, I had no idea how much work it would be. But oh, it is not anywhere near time for Mrs. Sims yet, is it?
Oh, no. Of course not. Don't you worry, Madeline. We will get everything done in time, won't we, girls?
Of course we will. There isn't the table pretty? I am sure the luncheon is going to be a success.
Oh, I do hope so, but I begin to wish that I had done a little experimenting before I asked the lady. Delia, only came a few hours ago, and it seems she needs a little training. I have told her very carefully, though, how to serve things, and I think it'll go all right.
This pile of old books doesn't look very nice here on the table. What shall I do with them?
Oh, anything you don't know what to do with, just throw under this couch.
What are you going to have for lunch, Madeline?
First, we are going to have tomato bisque. Delia said she did not know how to make it, so I got it canned. Jane told me to. She phoned this morning and to see how I was getting along. And then we are going to have salmon salad on lettuce leaves. I got 24 cans of salmon, for I wanted to be sure to have enough. That is, 2 apiece for everyone, counting Delia, and some left over. I think that'll do, don't you?
Oh, I think that ought to be enough salmon, but aren't you going to have anything else?
Yes, I'm going to have some frog's legs. They are green, you know, and this is to be a green and pink luncheon.
They are green when they are alive, but are they when they are cooked?
Well, I don't know why they wouldn't be. I don't see how cooking would change their color.
No, I don't see how it would either, but I had an idea that maybe it did. See, don't you think these flowers are better a little lower? It is so much more sociable when you can look across the table at your neighbor.
There is the bread and butter and peppers, but say, Madeline, I only got half a pound of pepper. When I told the man I wanted a pound, he asked me if I really meant it. So I said, I guessed a half a pound would do. And he looked the queerest you ever saw, and he said he guessed it would. Here it is. Do you think this will be enough?
Oh, well, I hope it will, but it doesn't look like very much, does it?
It will do for today, anyway, and then you can easily get more.
I'm going to throw this old cushion under the couch, too. It doesn't go with the color scheme a bit.
Oh, Delia! Oh, gosh.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, please, try to do things a little more quietly. And Delia, when you serve lunch, and I hope you will not come in with your kitchen apron on like this, will you?
Oh, I'll do this, ma'am. See, and when you're before me, you'll be none the wiser for what's behind me.
Oh, I would rather you leave the gingham apron in the kitchen. Did you fix the pink and green ribbons on your cap as I told you to?
Yes, ma'am. And it's a grand headdress I'm after having, but gory, it would do for me wedding.
You may take these out to the kitchen, Delia.
Yes, ma'am.
You may go now.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Do you think she would be offended if I told her to comb her hair?
It is my theory that one should treat servants as one would like to be treated. Now, would you like it if a stranger told you to comb your hair?
But Madeline's hair never looks like Delia's.
That is not the point, but the principle is the same in both cases.
Well, I am glad you think it is not the thing for me to do. I was dreading it, but I thought it might be my duty.
Bing bong, bing bong.
Can it be Mrs. Sims?
Well, Delia let her in all right?
Oh, I am afraid so. Just look at this room.
But the parlor is all right, and you can entertain her there until we get things in order here.
There's a woman at the door, ma'am.
A lady, Delia. Did you show her into the parlor?
Deed, and I did not. I put her finest at the door, and I says, I don't want yous to move a foot till I come and give yous leave. Gary, Ginny, ma'am, did you think I'd put her in the parlor to run off with your grandeur?
Oh, what will she think of us?
Just as excited as I can be. Hurry, girls, give me everything that's lying around. This is the quickest way to get rid of them.
I would not say that my feeling is that of excitement. I would say that I have a foreboding, rather, that a terrible disaster is near.
And it's right you are, ma'am, for I hear it coming as fast as its 2 feet will carry it along.
I disapprove of nervous women.
I am sorry, Mrs. Sims, but you startled me. You...
I surprised you. Yes, I know it. I meant to. I'm here inspecting housekeeping, and the way to inspect thoroughly is to take the housekeeper by surprise. Seems to me you have plenty of help here.
Oh, these are just friends who have come into lunch with me. Let me introduce the girls, Mrs. Sims.
Oh, we don't need any introducing. All I need to know is their names, and I guess I can find that by asking. What's your name?
My name is Mickey Wells.
And yours? Any of you married?
Oh,
Oh
no.
no.
Gonna be?
I hope so someday.
Are you engaged?
Dear me, no.
Got a beau?
I don't know what you mean,
Certainly.
Mrs. Smith. I don't know what you mean, Mrs. Smith.
Well, if you don't know what a beau means, you ain't gonna be married for some time yet. You got a beau?
Certainly not.
Certainly not. Well, I guess you must all be calculating to stay old maids.
Well, what is it, Delia?
There's nothing to make tea in, ma'am, but a frying pan.
Well, what else do you want?
Sure, and I am, yes, ma'am, it's green that I am, ma'am, yeah.
Won't you let me take your hat, Mrs. Sims?
Oh, no, thanks. I won't take it off. It sets real comfortable. It's too bad you should have had so much company on wash day.
Oh, this is not wash day.
Ain't wash day? Ain't that your washwoman? You don't mean to say it's your hired girl.
Yes, it is.
Well, I never. I thought you was keeping house yourself.
I am directing the housekeeping. Mr. Scribbles and I decided that it was not necessary for me to do the menial work myself. I understand that I am to know enough about it to manage a household, and I have asked you here to show you that I am quite capable of it. You may serve lunch, Delia.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, I'll just sit and knit a while and knit a row while we're waiting. I never sat idle, and let me tell you, if that's the way you all do, sit around doing nothing, this way, that way, 'tain't any wonder to me that you ain't got any beaux and don't know what they mean. Land sakes, when I was a girl, but with their washing machines and trolley cars and all, such like times do change, and I suppose there ain't no use talking, but I ain't. I'm just as crazy as my bread and pies and cakes as they were then, and there's just as many as would like my fur and their housekeeping. I guess, give everybody a chance, says I, whether they'll take it or not. And when you've had 3 husbands, 3, and all of them as different as mine, I say that's enough matrimony for one woman. Nevertheless, and notwithstanding, if you are a good cook and housekeeper, you'll never wait long to find out what a beau is, and you'll know just as well, providing you keep your hands in when you're 60, as you did when you were 16.
Oh, that's the truest word you ever spoke, ma'am. And sure, it's Delia Maloney as knows it. In the old country, there was never a girl could boil pratties with myself, and it's many the lad comes courting me. Ah, it's while I mind the times I've had, ma'am. Oh, and one day, ma'am, I was going with Patsy McGinnis to the fair. It was this way, ma'am. He was riding with a crate of chickens in the cart, and finer hens was never raised. When shouldn't they bust open the crate, and off they goes over the bog, and Patsy's after them. When I thinks of it now, Patsy with his coattails fly.
Delia, you forget yourself.
Oh, deed and I do, ma'am. When I think of Patsy and how he looked leaping over the bar. But it's Delia now, ma'am, that wasn't far behind him.
Delia, I wish you would continue to serve the lunch.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And I'll tell you the rest while you ate it.
I am perfectly astonished at her.
Are you? Well, I am perfectly astonished to see something sticking out from under the couch. Looks like it might be somebody's best bonnet. Well, I swan to gracious if it ain't. And books and pictures and aprons and coats and land knows what all. Stuff as full as a roasted turkey. Well, I never hear tell of such a thing. Under the couch and behind the pictures, all flowers and fuss before your eyes, and rags and dirt and untidiness in the corners. My, how long did it take you to put them away? Just look at it all now. I didn't know that was hiding places enough in one room to hold it all. Look. Is that what you call good housekeeping?
Yous can come eat now.
Oh dear, how could you?
So that's what you're gonna have for lunch, is it? 1, 2, 3, 9 cans of salmon? You must think we have dainty little appetites. Is that all you have in the house?
Oh no, I had 24 cans. I knew better than to run short.
Yes, I guess you did. And we're gonna eat it all out of the cans. Well, it will save dishwashing, and that's something to be said for.
Deed and it is, ma'am. But I hope it just can open them, for it's more than I could do with the strength of my 2 arms. I borrowed a hatchet, and maybe it'll help yous out.
Well, I guess we'll let that salmon sleep peaceful in its cans. But as far as I can see, there ain't nothing else to eat but elegance and dirty lettuce. What you got there?
Oh, sure, and it's tea. I got it in this frying pan, ma'am.
Oh, Delia, how could you? Oh, isn't this mortifying?
Oh, deed, and it's that. For it's yourself that's told me to do it, and it's not the first queer thing you've said this day.
Oh, but I didn't mean to.
Faith, and there's no telling what yous mean, ma'am, with yous green frog legs and your decorations to match. And the bows you stick on me head, like I feel like a cockatoo. Sure, and it's not long I'll be staying with the likes of yous. And would you believe me, ma'am? There's nary a thing in the kitchen but a canary bird, a flower pot, a frying pan, and myself, ma'am.
You're a horrid, impudent, ungrateful creature, and you can go at once.
Sure, and I can that, ma'am, and it's glad that I be leaving.
Well, I guess I've seen all I need, and there's nothing left for me to do but tell you what I think, which won't take long. What I think is just this. You ain't gonna marry Freddie Randolph. I knew his Aunt Maggie good. She could keep house if she did have money, and she set proper store by her housekeeping. And she didn't call it menial work. And she would raise right up and hand me if I let Freddie marry anyone who did this when she had used him to what was right and proper. Goodbye. I'm going to ride out to find something to eat and the railroad station. And I'm mighty glad I didn't stop to take off my bonnet.
Oh, Freddie.
Oh, isn't this dreadful?
It certainly is. I never saw so many tears all at once in my life.
Jane, do you know?
I met the inspectress in the hall, so I can guess.
I have lost Freddie. Oh dear.
Well, I wouldn't feel so bad about it.
Bad about it? Oh, it will kill me.
You are an unfeeling wretch.
Not at all. I have just come to pour oil on the troubled waters of your domestic life and show you a ray of hope.
Well, I don't see any hope for me.
And you never will while you keep your eyes full of handkerchief and your mouth full of tears. I went to see Mr. Scribbles today.
No, don't tell me anything about him. He is responsible for all of this.
Don't be too hard on the poor man. He is going to give you another chance. I foresaw this catastrophe and thought of a plan to set things right again. Mr. Scribbles agrees, and it remains only for Madeline to approve and go to work.
Go to work?
Yes. My plan is simply this, that you, Madeline, take a course in domestic science. You would learn to cook and keep house and manage servants. I think I would keep this apartment if I were you for practical work. And when you find from experience that your housekeeping is satisfactory, ask the lady again.
Well, I don't ever want to see her again.
You will change your mind about that.
Do you think I could ever learn?
Oh, of course you could, but you would have to postpone your wedding for it. It would take you at least a year.
Well, better late than never.
Oh, Freddie, I haven't lost you after all.
No, sirree. You can't shed me off in no parlor when I come on inspecting trip. I told you that before. I want to be right there on the spot and see how you do things. You seem to be much more tidied up since I was last here.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Sims. I have learned a great deal since then.
Yes, I see you have learned something. Yes, yes, yes. You have learned something. No dust on the chairs, no dust on the table, everything in pretty good order. Sit down and let me talk to you. You have learned something about cooking too, I hear. What can you do? Can you roast meat?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Fry potatoes and make pie and cake and biscuits and roly-poly?
Oh, yes, I can do all of those things. And I can fix lobster a la Newburgh and beef a la mode and bake the most delicious casseroles and make 10 different kinds of ice cream. And have you learned to make zuppa de magro? That is something quite new, no? You don't know? Well, I will show you if you care to learn. I hope you are going to make me a nice visit this time. Won't you take off your bonnet? You must not leave without your lunch today.
No, I don't know as I will. I kind of have a premonition. You got a new hot girl? I see. Well, she's enough sight better than the other one. How does she work?
She works very well, thank you. You see, she is not really a hired girl. She is one of the girls you met here before, actually. I have been teaching them as I have learned myself. Henrietta and Julia are cooking for me today and are eager to show you how well they can do it.
Well, I guess I'll stay a while. My premonition's leaving.
Oh, ding ding. May, we'll take your things.
The girls ain't very sociable since they learned housekeeping. Don't they never talk?
Not when they are acting as maids. It is not proper for them to.
Luncheon is served.
Oh, won't you sit here, Mrs. Sims?
What's them?
Croutons.
Croutons? Never heard of them. No, I don't want any. Take them away. What kind of soup do you call this anyway?
Well, this is bouillon.
Sort of thin stuff, I call it, without any vegetables in it. Does Freddie like it?
Oh, I believe he does.
Oh, well, I don't. You can take it away. Never heard of serving soup in cups anyway. What else have you got?
Did you have a pleasant trip this morning, Mrs. Sims?
Oh, so.
Perhaps you would like to go shopping with me this afternoon.
I don't know as I'm going to stay that long. My premonition is coming back.
I thought you were going to stay a week.
I was, but I don't feel just comfortable. What's this I'm going to eat now?
Oh, this is Venetian halibut.
That don't sound tasty. How do you make it?
Oh, well, you flake the halibut and then bake it with carrots and celery and green peppers and a little lemon juice.
Well, why, that ain't nothing more nor less than baked fish. Fenced up piece of fancy, I guess. I can eat some of that and cream potatoes. I know them when I see them, but I guess I wouldn't if you called them. Now, what's this she's giving me?
Tomato a la Hamburg.
Land of Goshen. If you called a Peachville scented tomato a name like that, it would rise right up off the plate. That baker's bread?
Oh no, I baked it myself this morning.
You did? Well, I must say, it ain't so bad.
Will you have some more of the Venetian halibut?
No thanks, don't know as I will. It sounds so foreign that I can't eat in peace. Do you know how to fry beefsteak?
Oh yes, I can, but I prefer to broil it.
Oh, you do, hey?
Yes, it makes it more tender.
So you learned how to cook, I hear.
Yes, madam.
Well, I must say, her manners ain't improved any when all she's learned. If you'll give me a cup of tea now, I'll be going.
What? Hasn't the luncheon been a success?
Maybe it has, but I ain't used to this kind of success. I like good, plain, straight housekeeping without any frills. But when folks begin to put on airs, I, for one, can't stand it. Here, I can't eat a mouthful without I ask what it is, and I say that ain't a comfortable way to do. Give folks honest meat and potatoes and make them good and keep your house clean, I say. What does it mean more putting on airs and I ain't got any use for it? What's that?
That is the ice cream. I made it myself, and I do want you to taste it.
You expect me to spoil it by eating it? That would go plumb against my conscience. Where's my hat? I can't stand this another minute. Get me my hat.
And can't I marry Freddie after all?
Don't ask me. Get me my hat. I don't know nothing about it. You asked me to come here and inspect housekeeping and you show me frills. I don't know anything about frills. You've got the place clean, I must say, and your frills seem to be coming set good on you, but I say it again, they ain't becoming to Lydia Ann Sims. Thank you, ma'am. No, ma'am, you can't do nothing else for me. I'm that flustered already with having somebody at my elbow all the time that I've fair got the creebles. Goodbye, ma'am. Freddie can marry you for all of me, but if he does after eating here, he deserves anything that happens to him. Goodbye.
Or has she gone again?
Is it all over?
It is all over but the wedding.